Howdy, Jewel here with you for J7409 weather as we check out the tropics today. The big story is Barbara. Would you look at that humongous monster storm that she is indeed. She's got winds of 155 miles per hour as of right now, today, this morning, July 3rd, 2019. She is expected to start to come down in strength though. But 155 mile per hour winds, that's a Cat 4, folks, and it's only 2 miles per hour from being a Cat 5. 157 and any winds above that is considered a Cat 5. Barbara has winds right now of 155 miles per hour. Now, this is, of course, as we're looking right now, the eastern North Pacific. Barbara does show up in the central Pacific. Don't worry, my friends in Hawaii. I'm keeping an eye on everything, but here we go. This is Hawaii Standard Time, okay? 155 mile per hour winds. The pressure is 933 millibars. If you're tracking Barbara, 13.5 north, 125.6 west. Barbara is moving west-northwest at 14 miles per hour. Now, let's not forget this disturbance here. I don't have this set on 5 days. This is 2 days, okay? But this thing's going to blow up too. Remember, early in the hurricane season, I told you guys that I thought any storms, it didn't really matter where they started if they were close to a shoreline. Now, this isn't really close, but Barbara was over in here too. It's not too far away. I thought they were going to blow up. Well, check this one out. It's going to blow up too. It's a large, disorganized area of showers and thunderstorms. It's several hundred miles south of the southern coast of Mexico, and it's associated with one of these tropical waves moving through. Now, the environmental conditions appear conducive for gradual development of this system, and a tropical depression is likely to form over this weekend while the system moves westward to west-northwestward at about 15 miles per hour. In 2 days, it's a 20% chance, but look out, 5 days, we're up to 80% chance of this forming also. Now, as we come over to the Central Pacific, there's all my friends, all the islands of Hawaii and all my friends over there. See, Barbara is showing up. Very same thing I showed you on the other map. Pretty soon, as Barbara gets closer, she may not show up on the Eastern North Pacific map and just this central map. But where does it look like Barbara's going? I want to check this with you for the first time today myself. Yesterday, when I checked on all of my other models, it looked like Barbara may begin to drift southward and not affect you guys quite as much, and Barbara should start to come down in strength. Thank you, Jesus. It should start to come down. But let's check out the National Hurricane Center's tracking map. Okay, here we have the tracking map with the cone of uncertainty. Remember, it can go anywhere in these lines. It don't have to go right down the middle. It can bounce over either way. That's why it's called the cone of uncertainty. But right now, this is where it was the last time they checked. Hawaii Standard Time, still a major hurricane through around 8 o'clock tomorrow, the 4th of July. Then it should start to come down, as you can see. And by Sunday, before anything from Barbara reaches, there's Hawaii Islands right there, reaches the islands, it should be downgraded to a depression. That's what should happen. And it's looking like it may go south of the islands. Now, this, of course, from the National Hurricane Center, and it is looking pretty accurate from everything that I went over late yesterday afternoon with my models. Now, there's a couple of factors, the internal and external, that should lead to a gradual weakening in the short term. Now, the first layer of warm water at the ocean surface ahead of Barbara is becoming more shallow. with the oceanic heat content values falling to 0 in the next 2 days. Second, we have a very recent GPM microwave overpass. That suggests that Barbara is developing a concentric eyewall structure, which tends to precede an eyewall replacement and associated weakening. Now, once a weakening starts, due to these circumstances, deep layer southwesterly shear. The wind shear then is expected to increase over 20 knots from 48 hours and beyond. And all of these factors together should start to bring Barbara down in intensity. Now, Barbara is moving west-northwestward, and it's along the southwestern edge of the subtropical ridge, and there has been no change in the track forecast reasoning, with the hurricane expected to turn northwestward and then slow down during the next 36 hours as it approaches a large break in this ridge near and east of the Hawaiian Islands. Once Barbara weakens and becomes a shallow system, it should then turn back to the west and accelerate on days 3 through 5. Now, the National Hurricane Forecast Center has adjusted slightly the track more southward. Hey, what I saw yesterday for much of the forecast period in order to fall closer to the model consensus solution. So what I saw on my models is what they're going by. Now, you can see right now 155 mile per hour winds. Once again, it's a Cat 4, 2 miles per hour from being a Cat 5. In 12 hours, 145, 24 hours, 130, and then it's going to drop on down, and by 120 hours, right before it gets to Hawaii, it should have, I'm going to say, 40 to 35 mile per hour winds, and it's looking like it should go south of Hawaii. Okay, this is a European model. I always like that for hurricanes. Personally, myself, I do use the GFS, the Canadian model, and other models, but where it's going to go and how strong it might be, I really like to use the European model. Here it is right now as of 8 a.m. this morning. I'm just going to turn this on and let it roll. We have Hawaii Islands right here, as you can see, and this is set on the sustained winds, not the wind gusts, the sustained winds, as it tracks on through. So let's see what it looks like. Now we are up to 1 a.m. tomorrow morning, Thursday. And this is what Thursday's looking like as it tracks on through. Still a very powerful looking storm at this point. But it should start to disintegrate a little bit maybe by Friday. This is 10 p.m. Thursday. Now we're getting to 2 a.m. Friday morning as it tracks on through. And you can tell it is going to move up to the north, and then maybe it's going to come down. There it goes down, looking like it's tracking a little more southerly. Let's hope it does go far enough south that it doesn't bother anybody on Hawaii, right? Of any of the Hawaiian Islands. But we'll wait and see. You may get some beach erosion, you may get some rain, but Barbara at this point, as you can tell, is dying down now. We're up to Sunday at 4 a.m. as it starts to get closer and closer to the Hawaiian Islands. And it's looking like it's not going to go as far south as it was yesterday, folks. Looking like now the Hawaiian Islands may get some rain out of this. But you can see it has disintegrated. No worries. Do not worry. Let's turn this off just a second as it starts to approach the islands. I want to set it on wind gusts. Well, before we do that, sustained winds in this, 28 miles per hour. Nothing like a Cat 4, Cat 3, or even a hurricane. This is something that you will be able to handle, hopefully, with not a lot of wind damage. We will set it on the wind gust now. Looking like the wind gust you could have a little bit higher. That's 39 knots. So that's tropical storm force wind gusts now and then, not sustained winds, okay? Not sustained winds. We'll put it back to regular sustained winds, and what we'll do is we'll let it move through. Now, this is Monday afternoon around 5. You guys should start to begin to get some rain, maybe a little bit of wind. Through Monday night and Tuesday is when you should get what you're going to get out of Barbara. And the main meat of it, where the eye was of circulation and vorticity, is south of there. And by Wednesday, you should be just getting a little bit of rain, if anything. And that's what the tropical outlook is looking like as of now. Here's this other little system that's popping up here. We have another one down here. I'll keep my eyes on it. Do not worry. In the Atlantic, nothing is going on right now. But I do have a feeling that before everything is over, the U.S. will be getting some hurricanes this year. The water here is too warm, folks. Too warm, okay? I think states that may be affected is going to be eastern Texas, Louisiana, Florida, and the Carolinas and Georgia. We'll have to wait and see. I could be terribly wrong, but I think in these areas here, I'll go just like this. I think we do have a chance of a hurricane this year at some point. With all that said and done, peace, love, and kindness to all. Please share this information if you have friends over in Hawaii. Let them know what's going on. Check on them. Make sure they're safe. Have yourself a great day.